Hello and welcome, I am Geran and these are my first impressions of Interrogation. This is a conversational puzzle game that I got free from Keymailer. This was voted for by my patrons. If you want to have your say on future first impressions, please consider pledging to my Patreon linked in the description. I will go with the Interrogation challenge because that just sounds more fun. A few years ago. Welcome. This will be the first Dwill session of interrogative interview and interrogation techniques course. I have a speech impediment, don't bring it up. We will be bringing in a subject. They're a trained actor, but should be fully in character for the duration of the interview. Before any interrogation, the first thing you need to do is consult the subject's file. This should give you vital insights into the case, helping you to identify what information or confession needs to be extracted. Douglas Bird is played by an actor as per the instructor's directions. Treat the actor the same as you would a real subject. We have circumstantial evidence because none of it is direct. We need to leverage the leads in order to get a full confession. Eyewitnesses confirmed his description. CCTV footage showing a masked figure. He's currently listed as unemployed, living in rented apartment paid for by his parents. So you only have a limited time to interrogate them. Okay, let's talk about you writing a confession. We both know you did it, come on. We don't know nothing, I'm not signing nothing, nah. Too early for that, let's keep working him. So, why do you steal bikes, Douglas? Huh? I ain't steal no bikes, broseph. That surprisingly didn't work. We need to get the subject in the right state of mind to give us answers. That shows how open he is, how scared they are. You can influence these in all sorts of ways, building a personal connection, cornering them and roughing them up. Start off as soft as possible. Yeah, not even approach, sort of try and relate, just, I can't believe they have me chasing bikes, why can't people just lock them up proper? It's fucking stupid, man. Waste of taxpayer money and all that. Okay, good, you seem more authentic. Now get closer. Hey, living's expensive, I know. I used to crack payphones when I was a teen. Word, that's Doug. Okay, we have him opening up some. Oh yeah. Good, this is why the meter now shows a wider circle. Now let's see about how we can try to scare him. You want to intimidate, but don't jump to big threats right off the bat. If we don't have a deal and you're found guilty, it's absolutely prison time, and I can only give you a deal if you plead guilty. I don't need no deal, pig, I'm innocent. You know how many months you do for bike theft? Nah, man, nah, I ain't worried about that. Oh, signs of fear. Oh yeah, sped up a bit. Did the drugs make you do it? I'm clean, yo. Hey, you're tough. You'll be fine in prison, I'm sure. What? You don't do time for snatching bikes, do you? My dad works for a centre, I'll be fine. Sometimes the talks reveal new information. Oh, you think this senator will risk his career for the sake of a bike-snatching kid? Really? Probably not. Shit. You know how many months you do for bike theft? Nah, I ain't worried about that. If we don't have a deal and blah blah blah... but like, I mean... What would a deal be like? Yeah, his pulse is really fast now. I want you to know your options. You can stop the recorder. This will make people suspicious. The public will ask what happened when the recording was stopped. You'll be accused, but ultimately it's your word against theirs. Huh. Oh wow. You can rough handle, pin them against the wall. Oh my god. Okay. Oh, wow. Jesus. Okay. Doing this closes them off, but you can see they're now terrified. We're ready to get a confession. Let's talk about you writing a confession. We both know you did it, come on. No, what would that involve, though? There were ways in which you can press an open subject, and there are ways in which you can press a terrified subject. Alright, well he's more terrified than open. Listen, you lowlife, sign this damn confession right now, or maybe we can keep your dumbass out of jail. Fuck man, fuck, shit, okay, alright, I'll sign. Okie dokie. I think I've got the hang of this. Taking names and asking questions years later. Hey, I need you to come in on a case. Fisher's brought in a set of guys, they're in the interrogation rooms. Hey. We have the Vic's husband, the only witness, and the robber that broke in. We need your questioning magic in there, a confession, because all we have is circumstantial. You in? Sure thing. So the story is this Cox broke in armed with a low-cal piece, holding this Peterson up and tying him to a chair. Wife comes in, jumps for the phone, Cox drops her with 2 shots to the back before balzing. We have the gun, no prints. This Peterson was as cool as a cucumber, his wife's body just lying there in the other room. Managed to track down and also grab Cox, street contacts helped, but we still don't have a clear picture of the murder. Check out the files, grill them with cross-examination, get me a confession, you have this. Am I Mordecai or am I someone else? I honestly can't tell. So, based just on this narrative, which says that they easily found the robber, but he denies the murder, I kind of reckon he did rob the place and the husband took the chance to shoot her, clean the gun, and then dropped it at the bottom of the fire escape. The robber is a repeat offender with no violent crimes, and the husband was disturbingly serene after the murder. Let us talk about yourself, Mr. Cox. No need to Mr. me around, Chief. You can call me Munch. Are you from the city? Born and raised in this pisshole. Yeah, I like the stink of it now, you know. Do you have any friends or family? Don't you drag him into this, but I got a cousin. He's probably worried about me. Very well. If you write down his phone number or address, we can make sure he knows you're safe. Thanks, Chief, but I'd rather he didn't get into trouble looking for me. Just leave him out of this, okay? This is not your first crime, is it? Why, you want to send me to prison for the old ones again? You've already been convicted once and did your time. Why do it again? I was put in a box for car theft, Chief. I didn't do that again, so I don't know what you're talking about. I understand your difficulties, but a woman was murdered this time. Help me get to the bottom of this. Sure, I'll help you. I didn't do it. Case closed. What made you turn to crime? What you want, Chief? A sob story? It's pretty easy. I wanted to eat and didn't have food. Others had food, or TVs that you could sell for food. Are you or have you ever been part of any criminal group or gang? What? Of course not. Gangers are a dangerous bunch to be around. Not my cup of tea. Yeah, see, that makes me think he didn't commit the murder, but if it was a sort of in the heat of a moment thing. Let's talk about the burglary. I don't get what all the fuss is about. I ain't like I got much out of it. What did you take? Just some useless small trees. It was the only thing around. I don't know what the big deal is. Why did you choose this house? I didn't choose it for nothing. I didn't do it. Well, you just admitted to stealing trees from there. So the fire escape ladder was already down? Yeah, it was. Do I look like a circus acrobat? Were the lights on or off? I wouldn't go in if the lights were on. But they were home. Did you see them? I bolted back down the ladder before I could see anyone. He's getting very nervous though. You lie to me one more time and I'll stop playing nice. We caught you with stolen items, so don't tell me you just backed off. Fuck, okay. There was no one inside, so I climbed in and looked around. So if they weren't in the bedroom, when did you notice them? After I jumped in, I heard voices inside the apartment somewhere. It sounded like they were fighting or something. Did you hear what they were fighting about? What do you think I am, the CIA? You tell me they were fighting about, I got my ass out of there as soon as I noticed someone. Let's talk about the murder. Man, as I told the officer that arrested me, I know nothing about that. The gun that shot Miss Peterson was found near the fire escape you used. Someone must have dropped it or something. I told you, I don't know nothing about the murder. Have you ever owned a gun? I don't touch 'em, Chief. Wouldn't a gun be useful in a robbery? Yeah, and it would add 10 fucking years to your sentence. You say the weapon isn't yours, yet you're the only one at the scene. That doesn't add up. Chief, ask anyone. Go search my house. Do whatever you want. I never had a gun. I don't even know how to use one. We found the husband tied down. He claims you did that. What? That lying shit lump? Do you think I could carry rope around just in case? The woman was shot in the back, in cold blood. And you think I did that? If I was a guns blazing motherfucker, wouldn't I at least take their TV or something on the way out? Maybe you panicked, pulled the trigger accidentally. What trigger? Panicked by what? You ain't pinning this on me. Mr. Cox, you had no reason to care about these people. You're going down for this anyway. Don't waste my time and I'll make sure you don't go to Max. You are one mean, evil motherfucker even for a cop. Okay, he's really closed off, but he is terrified. As I said, tell me what I want and you don't go to Max. Fuck you. Jerry, be honest with me. Who killed Miss Peterson? I know where this is going. Regardless of what you believe I did, you got nothing on me. Because I didn't kill nobody. Alright. I don't think he did it. I reckon that Daryl used this as an opportunity to kill his wife. Let's talk a bit about yourself, Daryl. I don't know if this is the best time to get acquainted, but ask away. What you went through can be very traumatic. Do you have any family to help you through these tough times? No, and I don't think this is any way relevant to your investigation. Have you taken leave from work to deal with this? Wouldn't it be better if we talked about things relevant to the crime? I have some questions about your wife. She was such an angel. What do you want to know? Any neighbours she wasn't on good terms with? I don't know, we didn't talk too much with our neighbours and she wasn't very sociable. How does this help you put that bastard behind bars? Are you sure no neighbours wanted to harm her? As I said, I do not know. Do you think anyone would hate her enough to plan on harming her? What? Of course not. That bastard broke into our home and didn't know either of us. Burglars usually abandon their attempt if there are people at home. This one didn't, and I'm wondering why he'd be so stupid. Those sort of people don't think straight. They just can't. Too dumb for it. Probably why he ended up a criminal to begin with. Can't imagine myself ever getting married. Cool. I really don't care. What were you and your wife doing that night, before it all happened? We were watching TV when the bastard came in through the window. Were the doors locked, the lights on? Yes, the doors were locked and the lights in the living room were on. It's so troubling to be attacked in the safety of your home behind locked doors. I'm very sorry, Mr. Peterson. All we can do now is make sure the bastard gets what he deserves. I hope he hangs. Mr. Cox says the lights were off, but they're probably confused by their lies. Dumb. Thieves are dumb. Was there anyone else in the house? Yes, just us. What do you mean? Are you sure there was no one in the house but the two of you? Yes, I'm quite sure. So, I ask again, could anyone have thought you were intending to leave the house? Now that I think about it, we were supposed to go out for dinner. We always do that on Friday nights, a silly habit of ours. Ended up staying home though. And why didn't you leave? We got into an argument, one big enough to keep us at home. Why can't I ask what the argument was about? That's a legitimate follow-up question. I'd like to know some details about the timeline. Okay, what do you want to know? Did you hear the burglar coming in? No, not really. We were arguing quite loudly. Where were you and your wife when you first saw him? We were in the living room. Is this relevant? Yes. At what point did the burglar pull out the gun? He had his gun out when he burst in. How did you react when you saw the gun? I put my hands up, of course. I told him that he could take whatever he wanted as long as he did not hurt us. Why did he tie you down? I guess he was scared I would try to fight him off. He looked smug there. Well, that's terrible grammar. Did he also wanted to? Did he also want to tie down your wife? Yes, he was telling her to sit down when she darted towards the phone. That's when he shot her. Did you provoke him in any way? Threaten him somehow? Look, bastards like him are the reason I keep a gun. They deserve a bullet in the head, nothing less, and I did not threaten him in any way. Munch claims he doesn't own a gun, and there's no evidence tying him to one. Well, he's clearly lying, or perhaps he stole mine. I keep it in the bedroom. You said you own a gun. You're not registered as a gun owner. The state's legislation doesn't say I need to register. I bought it at a gun fair anyway. What about it? Why didn't you try to use the gun in self-defense? I couldn't reach it in time. I was even waiting for an opportunity to test my aim on filth like him. So you were prepared for such an event? Of course I was. The way things are going in this city, everyone should be prepared. You're an officer, you know how dangerous the streets have become with all the crackheads, the crazy hobos, you need to be ready. I understand your concerns, but most people don't have the stomach to shoot, even in self-defense. Do you think you would have been able to? Yes! When the system doesn't protect you, you have to do it yourself. If we had an armed neighbourhood watch, filth like that burglar wouldn't have dared to step on our streets. Quite harsh views you have, Mr. Peterson. Do you really think this burglar deserves to die? Hell yes! With some people, there's no alternative. You have to take things into your own hands and get tough. Only way this world will ever be a better place is if honest people stand up. With force, if necessary. Vigilante justice? You think that's the solution? There is so much filth out there, and the system that's supposed to clean it up is just as dirty. If honest people like you and me don't take action, the filth will drown us all. Just you and me? That won't change much, don't you think? I don't know what that means. There's many of us out there who think like this. We found each other online, like-minded people willing to take up the responsibility. We? What are you talking about, a political platform? No, politics is their game. If we play by their rules, we lose because it's a rigged game. We need to short-circuit the whole system, shake up the entire establishment. That takes a coordinated effort though. How will that happen? There's this group I was talking about. We mostly meet online, forums, boards, chat rooms. It's a great tool to organise ourselves, plan things out. What sort of plans are you talking about? I don't know for sure. I don't have the rights to the chat room where things are organised, but it will certainly be big. Why don't you have access to this chat room? You need to show some commitment beforehand and be part of the group for a while. I asked for access, I'm sure to get it soon. Who has access? The chat rooms are anonymous, of course. We know each other by our IDs, mostly veterans, people that have been involved for a long time. They assign a mentor to new people. Mine is HornBunny49, silly name, I know. What needs to be discussed in such secrecy? I don't know for sure, but it's a place where they assign actual tasks and set up meetings. Things are picking up recently. It's all very exciting to be part of the Liberation Front. That's this group's name? No one voted on it or anything, it's just what we call it. Okay. I think the Liberation Front is like part of an overarching story in this game. It's not like a series of independent sort of cases. Daryl, honestly, who killed your wife? What are you insinuating, that I killed her? To try to put me behind bars just because I said I believe scum like that burglar should stop walking this planet? How did you jump from that to me killing my own wife? About your gun, why did you not report that? It's quite dubious you would hide it. I'm sorry, with everything happening I just didn't realise it would be important. What did your wife think about these online friends of yours? She did not approve. It gave her another reason to criticise me, all those arguments. How were things in your marriage? We've been married for almost 7 years now, sad up and downs as you might expect. The argument you had on the night of the attack, was that common? We weren't on best terms, we'd been fighting quite often, about the most stupid things, you know how it goes. I guess both of us thought it would settle down when the time was right. And I understand you and your wife had frequent disagreements lately? Yes, with many fights starting with her criticising me, especially about not having a job. She blamed me for it constantly. My file does not say, but do you have any children? No, children are a waste of time, don't you think? So you and your wife argued often, and she blamed you for getting fired? Yes, she was relentless about it, mostly blamed me for it, wouldn't believe me that my boss was a bastard, that he had it in for me. Women like her always think they know everything. I assume you were fighting over this on the night of the break-in as well? Actually, yes, that's what started it that night as well. It was a common thing for us. Must have been so frustrating for you, her constant pestering. Yes, I guess it was. I just had enough, you know. You've been with someone for 7 years, you expect some respect by that point, some consideration. But no, she could be such a shrew sometimes, I'm telling you. So that's why you were so composed. You actually hated her. I did, yes. I'm not happy she died, but I can't help but feel relief that she won't be blaming me for all the things that went wrong. I understand your relationship with your wife was becoming tense. Did you do anything to let off some steam? Work kept me busy until I got fired. More recently, I've been practicing my aim, and it's quite relaxing. I used to take my gun to a nearby field and shoot bottles. I understand you got fired from your last job. There was no need for that. They fired me months ago. Why did you get fired? I worked there for 6 years, but the boss wanted to hire cheaper labour. You know how these big corporations are, soulless, the lot of them. The job hunt must be frustrating. I hope you find one soon. Yes, it was. I despise all that arse-kissing and self-boasting. What everyone understands. So your wife is the primary earner? Well, yes, if you want to put it like that. She was quite proud of it too, rubbed it in my face with every opportunity she had. Have you heard about the Liberation Front, Cox? That a gang or something? No, never heard of them, must be new. So he's completely open but not scared, so I've sort of related to him, whereas he is terrified and rather closed off. I don't know. Again, Daryl, who killed your wife? What do you mean? The damn burglar? Who do you think killed her? To me it's clear you have no love for your wife, you resent her. I would go so far as to say as you hate her. I did hate her, yes. I hated her arrogance, I hated her friends, I hated her fucking bonsai trees. I hated the disrespect she had for me. But that doesn't mean I would ever hurt her. And even more, that night you had an argument, and you also saw a huge opportunity to blame the murder on the burglar. What, I'm... So that's the one to use if you're scared, and that's the one to use if you're open. You've made it quite clear you see violence as a solution, Peterson. You talk with your friends online about it. You had the means and the motive to do it. If you believe in justice, as you say, confess. She should have treated me with more respect. She deserves it, and so does my stupid boss, and so do many others. If we don't take things into our own hands, nothing will ever change. I thought you understood that too. Whew. Successful interrogation is always the husband. With the confession secured, Daryl Peterson will be going to jail for a long time. Whew, jeez. Good work in there. I have something important I need to discuss with you. But before that, I need you to finish up the press release. Ah, right. Okay. The arrest of Daryl Peterson and Jerry Cox. So I have a choice between the criminals have been incarcerated, which is a rather stern way of saying it, or they will be treated following judicial procedure, which is the better one, I think. Daryl Peterson, the victim's husband, confessed to the murder, although he initially attempted to hide his involvement by staging a violent robbery. Evidence at the scene contradicted parts of his description. First-degree murder. The manslaughter charges against Jesse Cox had been dropped. The evidence suggests he had no violent intent and no connection to the murder. Okay, so that's essentially the report you write up. Pick up an old memory. Presumably these are the next case. I'm going to leave it there. That took a lot longer for one case. I thought I'd be able to do one, maybe two cases, but wow, we're at almost an hour and that's one case. Apart from a couple of typos I noticed, well, not typos, mistakes in the language, which is pretty bad for a language-based game. This is fascinating. With the sort of the option between the scare and the befriend, it seems a little bit simplistic, because, you either go for all of one or all of the other, and you just got to gauge which you think is going to be more effective against the person. Maybe they add in extra things later on, I don't know. Maybe body language. But this was interesting and different. Let me know if you want to see more. Remember that this was voted for by my patrons. If you want to have your say on future first impressions, please consider pledging to my Patreon linked in the description. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you later.